So 1823 was a long time ago. Many things have changed since then. Slavery became illegal. Minnesota was granted statehood, and Austria-Hungary became a country, and then Auckland stopped being one. But in these last 195 years, easily the most important change has been the changes made to Dr. Frankenstein's assistant, Igor. Now, previous versions of Igor didn't look or act like he does today. So when you hear the name Igor and when you see his picture, most of you probably know who this is. This is a picture from the movie Young Frankenstein. Now, I've looked into various Igors throughout history, and I've researched it a fair bit, and today I'm going to tell you about 3 of them. The first incarnation of him, the one that gave him most of his physical attributes, and the one that gave him his name. Sort of my first main point is about a guy named Fritz. Fritz was the first incarnation of Igor. He appeared in an 1823 play called Presumption or the Fate of Frankenstein. And he was played by a guy named Robert Keeley. Now, an important note about him is he did not have a hunchback. In fact, in Igor's nearly 2-century-long existence, he's only had a hunchback for the last 87 years, so about 45% of it. And really, he's very different than Igor. He lived a pretty good life, unlike the modern Igor. He had a decent paying job, he was happily married, and even had dreams and aspirations for the future. He wanted to retire in a small cottage in the countryside and own a cabin. Now, he's so different that you really need a stepping stone in between him and Igor to even say that he can be counted as Igor and not just an assistant to Frankenstein. Now that I've talked about the one guy named Fritz, it's reasonable that I move on to a second guy named Fritz, who I'm going to call Fritz number 2. Fritz number 2 was both the most famous and most influential Igor to have ever appeared. He appeared in the 1931 film Frankenstein and was played by a guy named Dwight Fry. Now, he has a lot of the traits that Igor is generally associated with. He's hunchbacked. He is, everybody hates him and he hates everybody else. He's really angry. And he's bad at everything. He's crippled, so he can't do anything physical, and he's really stupid, so he can't do anything mental. So really, in that sense, he's like the modern Igor. He's got the brains of the modern Igor, he's got the looks of the modern Igor, and also he's short, just like Igor. So they're kind of like identical twins. They look the same, they act the same, but they've got different names, which, so now that I've talked about how Fritz number 1 created Igor, and how Fritz number 2 gave him his appearance, that only leaves one question: where did he get his name? The man Igor got his name from was a guy named Igor. Twist. So Igor first appeared in the 1939 film Son of Frankenstein, played by Bela Lugosi. Now, unlike the previous Fritzes or the later on Igors, he was not a hunchback, and he was not just a lab assistant. He was an evil and cunning blacksmith out for blood. Now, if you look at the picture, he does look kind of hunchbacked. He is not. That is an important point. He is just bending his shoulder weirdly because he has a neck injury. He cannot bend his neck, which his neck is broken because of a failed hanging previously in his life. Now, the most important point about him is he left a very big impression on the people who saw him in the theaters. A 1939 article by The Advertiser, which is a newspaper, said that he was about as scary as the monster. And another article by the Courier Mail, another newspaper, said that he, quote, is just about as much of a menace in the film as Karloff, end quote. And Karloff was the actor who played Frankenstein's monster. So both of them are saying that he's as scary as the monster. Which something to remember is that these were written in the 30s, so the cheesy old monster movies were modern, very scary monster movies. So they were comparing him to the scariest monster in cinema. So that's very high praise. But the impression died out. It's 2018. Nobody's ever heard of him. And at some point in between 1939 and 2018, his name was adopted by Fritz. Though you may have noticed this, the spelling is different. The spelling was changed at some point from a Y to an I. So in conclusion, I told you about how Fritz #1 created Igor, Fritz #2 gave him his appearance, and how Igor gave him his name. And those three things, existing, looking like Igor, and having the name Igor, are the things that make Igor who he is today. Any questions?
Have you seen all the Frankenstein movies?
Not all of them, but the first 5.
How many are there?
Yeah.
Yeah. 8, I think.
Which one's your favorite of the
Of the movie or of the Igors?
Igors?
The Igor, the blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.